I don't know much.
Okay, it is 5:01 PM on Tuesday, November 26, 2024. We'll call the Board of Works and Safety meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Rigo.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Daniel.
Here. In front of you are the minutes from the October 22nd meeting first. Do you guys have any questions, comments, concerns?
I did.
One thing I did notice is I think under bid award for Park Trail, I just noticed it now, I think Derek has one R and not two. Derek
I
Frederickson.
cannot tell you that,
I
sorry.
think it's one R, but if you can double check that one. Besides that, nothing else? Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Dan, second by Lisa. Further discussion? All those in favor show with the usual sign. Dan and Lisa approve, and I abstain. Next up are the minutes from our previous meeting, which was on November 12th. Dan, did you have any changes or corrections? I had one, and that was under the, yes, it was a spelling thing, under the conflict of interest disclosure. Daniel, my last name is misspelled, but besides that, I didn't see anything else. It's okay. I won't hold that against Sally. She'll be good, so. Any other things? Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes from November 12th with the noted change. Motion second for the discussion. All those in favor should be the usual sign. Dan and I approve, and Lisa abstains. Okay, next up is the agreement for the Parkview Shared Clinic. So a little bit of background on this, just for your information. Do we have that? I don't, that's not in the packet. So, did you know? what
It
was?
isn't?
No.
Is it in the?
Oh, it is in the, I'm sorry, I totally missed it. It is in our Dropbox under revised, I think it says shared clinic revised clean. So, yeah. So, to give you some background, so currently our shared clinic is, we basically have an agreement with the school corporation, and the school is the agreement holder with Parkview. So what Parkview is doing now is they're moving, well, so the school and Parkview have decided, we didn't really get much of a say in it, but we've worked out some things in here that hopefully help us. But anyways, they made the decision to go to more of a shared clinic model, which they assure us that none of our employees are going to see a difference. But basically what that means is if other companies wanted to effectively buy into the clinic, they could buy into the clinic. So they have told us a couple of things, because our biggest concern is we want to make sure that our employees have the option to get into the clinic and they don't have to wait an extended long time if you go to the clinic, if you can spend the same amount of time waiting for that as you can waiting to go to your doctor, right? So the idea is that I kind of expressed that issue to them, and they said they really have three levers they can pull. One lever is to expand the time frame that's offered. Number two is they can expand the providers at the clinic, and number three is they can add additional locations. So they've assured us our employees won't really see much of a difference, if any of a difference, but from our side, it'll be kind of a direct pay situation rather than us paying the school that pays Parkview, if you will. Further, there's a lot of things that we're kind of paying that are that are outside of the contract, of like tests and some medications and things like that are now rolled into this agreement, so we're not paying outside of the agreement for those kind of things. A bunch of different things were kind of changed in here, but basically it's a 2-year agreement, and we really wanted to go 1 year, but they wanted to have a 2 year, so they actually gave us a bit of a break, if you will, on the actual per I guess beneficiary fee. So we actually have a decrease in the fee, so it'll cost the city less money to be a part of the shared clinic, if you will, than what it is currently. And we get more benefits and services from it. So I think it is a win for right now. I have assured our wellness committee and let Parkview know directly that if for some reason we feel like this isn't a win for the city, then we will be opting out of the contract after the 2 years. So I just say that to say, I think we had let's see, anybody on the wellness committee over there? I don't think so. Rosie, you were there. Do you remember what I feel like we had like a 65 or 70% utilization rate this last quarter or something. So again, the goal for them the goal in which they would extend the hours, I think they said is a consistently 80% utilization, so we're not far away from that anyways. But I think our employees that have been using it seem like they really appreciate the convenience of it. You know, I personally have used it multiple times this year. My daughter and my wife have also used it. I know lots of our employees and their spouses and others are using it as well. So, long story short is that's what this contract does. I think the current fee is what, $67 per participant, if you will. This knocks it down to $50 with a 3% increase annually. So again, it's going to be a while until we get back to 67 bucks. So I think that's a very positive thing, right? So with that, any questions, comments, concerns? I know Beth has been through this, has been fighting and advocating on our behalf, if you will. And Rosie, did you have anything else you wanted to add that I didn't
No, I
notate?
think you got it all covered.
Okay. So with that, I'll make a motion that we approve the Health and Wellness Services Agreement with Parkview Employer Solutions as presented.
I'll second.
Motion seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Thank you for that. Okay, so next up is the acceptance of real property for the current Whitley County Jail. We've talked about this in the past. I'm happy to kind of chat through it a little bit more. We were approached by the county with the consideration of whether or not the city had an interest in acquiring the Whitley County Jail when they move out, which they are not moved out yet. And the first thing we did was take a walkthrough to see what we what we knew and didn't know about the jail. And then we engaged a consultant, if you will, an engineering firm to take a look at the property to see if it's good shape, bad shape, if there's issues. And I do want to say through this conversation that the county has been, I think, has been very forthright with us. They've given us all the records that they have. They gave us blueprints. They gave us HVAC systems. They gave us everything about the building. So I think we're going into it pretty eyes wide open. So we had a lot of conversation about what that would look like. And so as we engaged the engineer, the redevelopment commission and my promotion fund, we went and paid for the engineering, or the review of it. And the engineer came back and said it's a solid building. It's a solid building. It's been well maintained. It's not super old. It's obviously structurally very strong and very sound. And here's the other thing is obviously it's on the courthouse square. And there's a lot of value, I think, to the city to have control, at the very least, control of a property that's right on the courthouse square. But I think there's lots of we're putting in some planning now as to what potentially could go in there and what that looks like. I think generally speaking, you know, I think we all know that the police department is on 3 different layers in this city hall, and it's probably time for them to have their own space. Specifically, we also have some training areas out at Eagle Park. We got cars out at the MSF. We just have a lot of things that are kind of scattered, and this would kind of bring everything in-house, as well as some other things that could go in there. But I just say that to say the agreement that you have in your packet is really the property transfer, if you will. So the actual resolution, I think the resolution is only for the council, is it not?
Yes.
Okay, so the resolution that you have there is going to be for the council. So our acceptance of property will be pending the council's approval, just so you are aware if we decide to accept it. But the thing a couple things I want to notate in here. Number one is it's obviously an as-is condition, but the county obviously, like I said, we've gone through it. Our engineer has gone through it. It's a solid building. We don't anticipate really any significant changes. There is a due diligence period, if you will, that allows us to kind of say, hey, we're probably not interested now because of X, Y, and Z, things like that. There is some clawback provisions here where we can't sell or transfer the property within 7 years unless it's back to the county. And county has first right of refusal on that, if you will. We do have a 120-day due diligence period, as I mentioned there. The transfer, by the way, under number 6 there, which the possession date, that's gonna be on or before March 1st. I know it's not filled in on there because we just got that date today. But the possession date is gonna be on or before March 1st, just so you're aware. Besides that, again, Marcia has kind of put together this agreement, and we sat down with the county and worked through some of these things, and so ultimately, there is no cost for us to, there's no direct cost. We're not paying the county for this property. It's a donation to us for the good of our citizens and for the good of Whitley County. And so we're really appreciative that the county was willing to consider that, and not to say that it's not gonna be, it's not gonna cost us something, obviously, but I think there's the impact and the opportunities are really tremendous in that building, so. Just for kind of your information, so because this has to be a kind of a multi-step process, the Board of Works obviously is kind of the caretaker of the property, and so we would be the one to accept the property. And then the council would have to approve the agreement, that the agreement is acceptable, as well as the resolution there. I think that's basically it. So, yeah. So those are the two things that you need to maybe be aware of. So, any questions I can answer for you. By the way, it does include the parking lot in the back. I saw that right there. So, yes. So it's the building and the parking lot for that property.
No, I think this is a good time to take advantage of this situation. I know we're gonna have to, put some expenses to it.
Sure.
Even with the police department's probably gonna have to do some things to it too. I mean, they've been using it as a
Police station, or at
police
least.
station,
Yep.
basically, I know, but we'll have to do some things that
Yep.
we wanna be able to do, to make it more convenient,
Yep.
for us. And I know how big that basement is. I've been down there, it's really big.
It's big.
And we got a lot of possibilities.
Yep.
So it'd be kind of fun to figure
Dream.
out-
Mhm.
Yeah, dream about how that could be utilized.
Yeah, and I think ultimately, again, we're doing some concept design of what could go in there, things like that. I know we had a meeting today, like I said, that, Gary was in and kind of said, we're talking about the space needs of the police department, not just now and in 5 years, but in the next 30 years. What do we need to make sure that we're preparing for, and those kind of things. Obviously, redevelopment commission, because it's in the TIF district, was at the table trying to, we're trying to just figure out what we can do. Chip was there doing his community development thing. So lots of different things as a part of that. Again, very, very, very preliminary, but we want to make sure we do the due diligence to make sure the building is valuable and worthwhile to us, and not something that becomes a money pit effectively, right? I will tell you that Rosie and I have been working a little bit on kind of funding mechanisms to do renovations to the building and what that could look like. So we're working through some of those things right now. But, again, the nice thing about this is that if for some reason we either can't find the funding or we decide to go a different direction or whatever, we can either give it back to the county, or they say, no, we don't want it, no takes it. And so we can then figure out how to dispose of it in that regard. But again, it's worth a shot to put something that's going to be valuable in there for us. So, Lisa, any questions?
No, you covered it.
Okay. So, then I will make a motion that we approve the real property transfer agreement and accept the property from Whitley County as presented.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Further discussion? Okay. All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Thank you for that. Next up is the Whitley County Community Christmas Celebration. This is a request for parking on the south side of the courthouse square, and is it just the south side? I think it is, yeah. So, I think this is like every other year, as I understand. The only thing I see in there that's a concern is from the electric department regarding not receiving permission to use the pole lights. So in some way, shape, or form, we may need to make sure when you report back to them, Rosie, on street closing, assuming we approve it, that we may need to just let them know that they need to get with Sean and get electric stuff worked out,
Okay.
not just assume that they can use any plugs that are there, so. Any questions, comments, concerns? I think it's a cool part of Christmas, by the way. I think this is a
One
neat
of the
thing.
few communities that
Yep.
are allowed to do such a
Yep.
thing, so it's a great thing.
I think what's neat is they have the music playing up the top of the courthouse, and it's a cool
I think
Christmas experience, so.
Choirs,
Yeah,
so it's a big
My
deal.
daughter will be singing, so show up to that.
yeah. I'll make a motion, we approve the Whitley County Community Christmas Celebration as presented.
I will second that.
Motion seconded, further discussion. All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Next up is the 12th Annual Whitley County Lighted Christmas Parade. 12 years, I can't believe we've been doing that for 12 years. Wow.
Good thing we got in early.
It's only Friday. It's only Friday. Okay. So with that being said, I do see that we did make the change that we had discussed earlier, or maybe late last year,
Yeah.
about closing Van Buren Street at, what, 200 block of
Yep.
West Van Buren?
Yep.
Okay. As well as the 100 block of South Chauncey Street. I think that makes a lot of sense. I've already gotten an email or a message from someone asking about whether we've changed that because of the safety factor last year. So I think that's a benefit. So again, having no parking there in that 200 block of West Van Buren and the 100 block of South Chauncey Street, I think that's a good change. So, any questions, comments, concerns?
No.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve the 12th Annual Whitley County Lighted Christmas Parade as presented.
I'll second.
Motion seconded, further discussion. All those in favor show the usual sign. It is unanimous. Bills.
Okay. Stop losing my voice. I'll make a motion to pay all accounts payable in the amount of $371,716.74 from the allowance of accounts payable vouchers dated 10/26/24 for checks.
Second.
Motion seconded, further discussion. Those in favor show the usual sign. It is unanimous.
I'll make a motion to pay all accounts payable in the amount of $1,401,058.25 from the allowance of accounts payable vouchers dated 10/26/24 for EFT payments.
Second.
Motion seconded, further discussion. All those in favor show the usual sign. It is unanimous.
And I'll make a motion to pay all accounts payable except overtime in the amount of $291,670.42, plus overtime in the amount of $6,814.27, for a total of $298,484.69 for the pay file ending 11/15/24.
Second.
Motion seconded, further discussion. All those in favor show the usual sign. It is unanimous.
And I'll make a motion to pay all accounts payable in the amount of $2,758.69 for the allowance of account payable vouchers dated 11/25/24 for meter deposit credits.
Second.
Motion seconded, further discussion. All those in favor show the usual sign. It is unanimous. Thank you. Department head reports. Kelly?
Yeah, just an update on Timber's Edge subdivision going in on East Hannah Street. We did a proof roll over there of the roads. They had a few spots that needed to dig out and fix. And then they put stone in those areas and put some geomat down. And then the curbs were poured. They were working on them today. They got concrete blankets on all the curbs. And then I'm working with one of the guys from Fleming on doing sewer testing next week after holidays. And then I suppose they'll probably be getting ready for asphalt if it gets warm enough to do that after all that's done. And then leaf pickup, we're just continuing to go around and get leaves right now, probably for the next couple weeks, as long as it's not snowing. And then grading, we transition into grading alleys before it freezes, trying to get all those greeted up. And then our 811 meeting we had, sounds like we're gonna be transitioning over from getting work orders from City Hall to that, starting December 2nd.
Okay,
That's it.
great. Thank you. Questions of Kelly? Thank you. I don't think we can sign this off. Chip?
Great news, Blue River Trail will start February, March-ish. Sorry about that, that was a thick tongue. The light poles were being poured today at Eagle Park, so we're anticipating next week, hopefully, Hunger Skate Park to be coming in. I'll let you give an update on Retail Live.
Oh, yeah.
I know you like that. So everything else is really plugging along, and I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving and really excited to spend time with family.
Good, good. Good questions of Chip. Thank you. Yeah, Retail Live, Chip and I went down and had, I think, a couple of different really good conversations with some retailers down. We just quick day trip down to Indianapolis. They had an event down there. So I think we had a couple of really good conversations with some of the retailers. Again, same kind of thing is you know, trying to find the retail space that fits their needs and all those kind of things and make sure the market is what they need. Our retail coach was there with us, walked through that with us, made connections with us, all that kind of good stuff. We have a potential development that is, I think could really do some significant improvements and positive opportunities for the city here in the near future probably. But I can't say much more than that, but it's a really cool thing that we're really excited about. We actually kind of started kind of broaching that subject with some of those retailers as to where some of the opportunities are coming, if you will. So I think it's a really good thing. So cool things on the horizon. We'll just see where it goes. So, Matt.
Not much, we're just going through One Rising Buildings, which we found that one of the pilot lights in the police training facility is not lit, and we weren't able to get it lit, so we're having that looked at.
Okay.
And that's partially due also to, we had to fix that gas leak, or NIPSCO did, on the backside of the building, so they shut that off. So we had to go back through and relight all of them anyways.
Gotcha.
And then we're starting to build the props for the father-daughter dance. It's coming up, and just waiting to hear back when we get the DeVol tunnel inspected.
Gotcha. Do you want to fill them in anything from last night's park board meeting?
From the park board meeting, we did, the park board accepted the new rates for the pool. General admission $7. And then we adjusted the membership rates and the pavilion rentals. And then they will be going on sale in December at 45% discount so that people can use them for Christmas gifts. And then over spring break, it'll be 25% on that. We looked into that because you know, we haven't raised anything or changed anything since 2018 on the pool.
On the Aquatic Center, and even before that at Burnworth, it was $5, I think, for a long time. So, you know, that daily admission rate hasn't gone up in, I'm gonna say decades. I don't know if it's been that long, but I think it
Long
has
time.
been. So, and honestly, you know, again, this last year, we lost a little bit of money. And again, a lot of that has to do with the fact that you have chemicals, you have equipment that needs to be replaced, and you got things like that. So, so we gotta kind of make up for some of that difference, obviously. But questions of Matt? Thank you. We've already approved your street closure, so.
Thank you.
GP,
All right, Ewing and Smith have both been approved. We got the email later this afternoon after I sent my report out, but they've both been approved by the state perf board. They're starting Monday, December 2nd, and starting with their 40-hour pre-basic, so they'll be doing that, and excited to get them going, and I think they're more excited than I am, for sure. They've been chomping at the bit at it, so. Officer Fuller has started, he's in the FTO process prior to him going out to the schools as the SRO. We're gonna put him through a FTO process to make sure that he knows the way we do things over here. And, you know, glad to have him aboard, and I think he's enjoying it. Received our new vehicles, and they were taken out of the top speed to be fully equipped. We've got Stuff the Cruiser coming up on December 6th and 7th from 6 to 8. Patrolling for Presence will be December 15th from 1 to 3, expecting about 80 to 100 children. Officer Thomas has done a great job with that program, and I can't be happier with that. The lighted Christmas parade is this Friday, as you said, and we approved. Turkey trot is Thanksgiving morning from the YMCA. Are you running that this year?
No.
Dispatch will be,
Wouldn't hurt me.
dispatch replaced the tabletop, which was starting to bubble up and wasn't working correctly, so that was all under warranty, so they came in and changed that last Thursday.
Questions of Gary? Thank you. Terry?
The test kitchen is entering the final phases, as far as I'm concerned, as far as equipment and everything should be operational soon. We're continuing server migration. All the servers are built. Now we just have to transfer all the data from different softwares into the servers and bring them up live. Spectrum was down to date, install software on the new SCADA servers. They got here about 10 o'clock. He left about 4.
Oh my.
So it went a little bit longer than they thought it would, but it did get done. And we also shut the network down this morning for about 45 minutes to upgrade our VMs, the BIOS on them. That went pretty well, went about 15 minutes longer than we thought it would, but other than that, they all came back up.
Questions of Terry? Thank you. Mike?
Out of the 1,700 lead lines that we think we have, we've cleared 222 so far in just this week alone.
Gotcha. Meaning we
Hopefully
crossed
get-
those off our list?
Yes.
That they are not lead?
We've proven them not to be
Gotcha.
lead.
Good.
So we're hoping to get a lot more.
Good, good. And how do they know that, Mike?
We visually have to go in and
Take a look at it.
and look, and people have been, after they got the letters from 120, they've been calling and say, hey, I got this letter saying we need to look at it, you know.
Yep.
And we know what areas where we have it, you know, and some letters got there because we didn't catch them.
Gotcha.
And we can say, well, we know that in your area, there's no lead, or we say, can we come up and visually look at it, and then, yeah, fine, and they'll set a time.
Gotcha.
And that, so
Good.
it's going well.
And, outside of the people who have responded to your letter saying, yes, come out and look, or have you had anybody call you concerned about lead in their water or anything like that?
No, but when they do talk, you know, they call, I said, even if you do end up having a lead line, the water's safe. I got a lead line in my house.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and I drink the water.
So I think we headed off a lot of concern by sending out the letter we did. I've talked to multiple other mayors that obviously also sent out the same letter and have gotten a fair amount of calls in their office and stuff and said, hey, can you send me a copy of the letter you sent out? And I said, sure, we can do that. No pride and ownership on it. So in any case, I don't know that our office has received any calls, which I think is positive.
And the ones that receive your letter first, you know, I think they read it and they understand the second letter was coming, and
Yep.
so.
Yep. It probably, timing-wise, didn't work out the way I thought it would, but probably worked out the best in
Yes.
some ways. So, anyways, question, Mike? Thank you. Thomas?
Well, we got, an update on the timeline to get our fire training facility fixed, and that is being held back till approximately March. We're trying to figure out what the big delay is, but that's not really good for us. Also, so that Dan doesn't make fun of me, next Board of Works, I'll have the request to close the parking spaces on the west side of the courthouse for December 24th. That is our annual candy giveaway that's happened for over 120 years, so hopefully we can continue that. I'll have that into you next Board of Works. Also, we have 10 applications for our position that we have open. The building facade is complete, except for prior to the company that we hired to come in and fix or update our facade. The Maltese Cross portion of the signage had already fallen off and got busted, so Gray Craft Signs is producing a new one of those Maltese Crosses that goes right dead center of it. Our evals, performance evaluations are about half done for the year, and everything else is looking pretty good. There's a lot of small things trying to wrap up before the end of the year.
Questions, Tom?
Do we run tests on the baby box, you know, that we installed a few years ago to make sure it's still functioning, all right?
Daily.
I was gonna say, I wondered how that worked, I just was kinda curious.
Yep, every day, beginning of the shift, the guys have to test that. They open it up, call dispatch, make sure that dispatch is getting sorry, and get it all closed back up and ready to make sure it's functioning.
Good question, good question. Yeah, there was a time period, maybe a year or two ago, that it was kind of down because there was something that needed to be fixed and stuff, but yeah. Testing. Good. Other questions, Tom?
It sets off an alarm in dispatch every morning, like as soon as they open it,
Mm-hmm.
an alarm goes off, so yeah, it's all working good.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Yes.
Okay, Rosie?
Nothing.
I think if there's anything I need to tell you. Let's see. As kind of, as you know, Thursday and Friday, City Hall will be closed for Thanksgiving holidays, if you will. Shop Small Saturday is coming up on Saturday. As was kind of mentioned by Kelly, the state has instituted a new locate system where we actually have to go in and every time a locate is kind of, is requested, our team has to go in and say, okay, no, we don't have anything there, or has to go out, do the actual locate, and then mark it on the system, so that it's a statewide system now, so they're kind of standardizing everything, so you don't get a different process each time. The reason I say all that is that we are having some conversations about kind of how to maybe do more streamlining of our utility locates internally. I don't have any, we don't have any results yet of what we're gonna do, but we're kind of gonna monitor that over time to see how many of those we're actually going to. Are we sending one guy, two guys, three guys? Are we sending nobody? Those kind of things. So, so that's some of that. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of things on the agenda for next week. I think you guys both RSVP'd, but Monday we have the Whitney County Jail tour coming up. And yeah, a lot of things happening. Busy week next week, but good stuff. So, Dan,
I have nothing.
Lisa. Well, anything from the audience? Okay, we have no press, so we'll call the meeting adjourned. Thank you.